when they try, look, even for me personally, my character, they would try to attack my character. They'll say he a rat or he just snatch.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is ask him who I told on.
Paperwork.
I ain't never told on no in my life.
Yeah.
In the Prem situation, look at this case. It'll tell you who told on him.
Right.
My name ain't in that case.
If there's one thing everybody knows, it's this. Crossing 50 Cent is like signing up for disaster. T.I. found that out the hard way when 50 started dragging his name through the mud over those old snitching whispers that just won't die. T.I. has been carrying that label for years, and it's brought him nothing but side-eye and shade from his peers. And guess who was leading the chorus of voices clowning him? None other than 50 himself. At first, T.I. tried to keep it smooth, acting unbothered, while 50 fired off his shots. But the back and forth only got uglier.
You feel when them New York and shit like 50 and all them niggas be trying to do all that old.
I'ma tell you something. When you're fighting a man with no arms, expect to get kicked.
T.I. couldn't help himself and eventually started throwing punches right back at 50. Now here's the wild part. Instead of letting the drama fade, T.I. turned it into a challenge. He called 50 out for a 20-track versus battle, even daring him to do it for his own birthday. Bold move, right? But all that did was fuel 50's pettiness to a whole new level. That's when 50 reached deep into the vault and pulled out the infamous 2008 Crime Stoppers ad where T.I. was urging people to call in and report crimes. The internet had a field day with that one, roasting T.I. left and right. It was a total mess. What makes it crazier is that T.I. and 50 weren't always enemies. They were actually cool once upon a time, even hopping on tracks together, both stacking their money and fame, but success didn't erase the shadows of those snitching claims, and 50, like many others, just refuses to let it slide. And then came the latest rumor that sent fans buzzing.
I'm saying, but they talking about, they try to use that I need to order protection, but why it feels like I'm the out here then? If I needed protection, you needed protection, and your protection gone.
Word hit the streets that T.I. was supposed to land the role of Davis McClain on Power, but got iced out because of his tension with 50. T.I. clapped back quick, saying it's all lies, insisting he and 50 respect each other and are cool. But let's be real, 50 hasn't confirmed a thing yet, and with his history, you know he'll speak up when he feels like it. So how did T.I. get stuck with this snitch label that still has 50 and others keeping him at arm's length? What went so wrong between them, and where do things really stand today? Let's dig into it. 50 and T.I.'s tension goes way back. This beef ain't new. Sure, 50 has clowned him across social media, but the roots of their drama run deeper. One of the biggest triggers? T.I. just wouldn't stop pressing for that versus showdown. He wanted it so bad, and the way he kept pushing only made 50 treat him like a joke. But that's not all. T.I. also poked the hornet's nest when he started talking reckless about East Coast rappers, throwing shade that hit close to home for someone like 50. And then came the moment that really sealed his rep, the infamous Crime Stoppers ad. Back in 2007, T.I. was facing serious charges, looking down the possibility of 20 years behind bars. To soften the blow and clean up his image, he popped up in a public service announcement telling people to call in tips and help fight crime. Yeah, you heard that right. T.I., the same guy who built his career on a street image, was suddenly on camera urging people to snitch. That commercial didn't just shock fans, it made his industry peers side-eye him hard. The streets never forgot, and the label stuck. Snitch. And for someone like 50, that's the kind of ammo he'll never stop firing. And of course, 50 Cent wasted no time hopping on that train. He was one of the first to throw shade at T.I., and he did it in classic 50 fashion, through music. On G-Unit's track, You So Tough, he rapped. Get knocked with 10 machine guns, only get 12 months. Hey, don't talk to me, you talk to him, you talking to them. I got the best lawyers money can buy. They said they would have got me 10 or maybe 9. I said, how do you explain how homie breathed? They said, keep your mouth shut or you eat the cheese.
Tough. To everyone listening to it is an awesome song. Listen carefully. Actually, you don't have to even listen that carefully. Yeah. There's a line in there directed at another rapper in the game.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What line? What rapper you talking about?
It was a line that has you questioning that you have. Is it true you have the best lawyers in the game?
I feel like I do.
Okay.
I have great.
And you asked them a question that if you got caught with 10 weapons in your car, you would have seen 10 years, maybe 9.
What makes you feel like there's a line to a rapper?
It just seemed to be very coincidental with the timing of things that are going on.
That's like.
Can you deliver the line for me 1 second? I don't want to do it injustice.
You use real life situations to create something that's entertaining without being specific. That's entertainment to me. Like if I had an issue, when have you known me to be indirect with an issue?
Oh, you're pretty direct.
Right, so if I had a problem with any artist, trust me, they would know. You see what I'm saying? When I take it and I write that, it's because a lot of people think that. And they're not saying it because they're cowardly people. You see what I'm saying? So when you write it and you put it there and you leave it and say, watch, let me watch and see what happens. And there's so much controversy around it, you didn't say anything. Then you go, see, they think that. They just won't say it to them because they're a bunch of punks.
Will you drop the line for me? That line that starts off with about having the best lawyers in the game.
I got the best lawyers money can buy. They said it would have got me 10 or maybe 9. I said, well, how do you explain how homie breathes? I said, to keep your mouth shut or you eat the cheese. You so tough.
Are you telling me that's not directed at a specific rap?
Well, I can't. Well, my intentions, if I have a problem, you know, me, my MO, and I would just say something. You know, so it's not really directed at him. It's me taking real life situations that these things are relevant to hip hop. Period. You see what I'm saying? So I take it and I make something that's interesting enough for people to sink their teeth into, and then I move forward. If you had beef, then we make it beef.
Can you understand? Well, you know me, I'm direct too.
Yeah.
Is that line about T.I?
Absolutely, for the public to decide.
That was a straight shot at T.I.'s legal drama back in 2007. Here's what went down. Just hours before T.I. was set to perform at the BET Hip Hop Awards, he got hit with a federal arrest. The twist? His own bodyguard was secretly an informant who delivered him 3 machine guns and 2 silencers after T.I. handed over $12,000 in cash. It was a setup that shocked everybody. Here's the wild part. T.I. was already a convicted felon, meaning he wasn't legally allowed to have those weapons in the first place. With charges like that, people expected a massive prison sentence. But instead, T.I. pleaded guilty and walked away with a surprisingly light deal: 1 year of house arrest, 1,500 hours of community service, and a short prison term that barely scratched the surface. That's when 50 pounced. On You So Tough, he highlighted how the average guy would have been buried under 9 or 10 years behind bars for the same crime, even with a top legal team. But T.I. somehow dodged that fate. So 50's not-so-subtle message was clear. If T.I. skated away that easy, it had to come with strings attached. And in street terms, that meant people whispering the word snitch. Some people started whispering that maybe T.I. had to trade a little information to score that lighter sentence. Not long after You So Tough dropped, 50 was pressed in an interview about whether he was really talking about T.I. And in true 50 style, he played it slick, saying it was up to the public to decide. But let's be real, you didn't need to dig too deep to catch the message. Between the bars and the timing, 50 was basically implying what a lot of folks were already saying. T.I. had been labeled a snitch, and 50 didn't even need to spell it out. As for T.I., he was asked about it too around the time G-Unit dropped that track. Back then, he tried to keep it cool, even giving 50 the benefit of the doubt. But the truth is, T.I. wasn't in any position to clap back hard. The feds still had eyes on him, and stirring the pot could have made things even worse. He had to move careful.
Are coming at you.
Well, I mean, honestly, man, like, to be perfectly honest with you, man, I gotta deal with each situation as how it come out of the person's mouth. You can misinterpret songs, lyrics, you know what I'm saying? When you're being interviewed and someone asks you, how do you feel about this? I gotta take that. I gotta take your verbal rather than listen to your lyrics and jump to a conclusion. And when I heard him speaking on it, he said he wasn't talking about me, you know what I'm saying? And me and 50 always had a decent rapport, you know? It wasn't never nothing negative. So, and like he said this in conversation. At the same time, he said, man, he's never had a problem with saying people's names when he's speaking on them. And like that's not like 50. If he going at somebody, he usually say their name and make it known. It's usually not ever whether or not, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that it's just unnecessary to jump to a conclusion and, you know, create an issue where there is none.
But you know how this game works. Drama never stays buried for long. By 2020, that old Crime Stoppers PSA resurfaced online, and the timing couldn't have been worse. This was right in the middle of Tekashi 6ix9ine's explosive racketeering case, where he famously testified against alleged 9 Trey members. The streets were already heated about snitching, and T.I.'s ad coming back into circulation only added fuel. Of course, 50 wasn't about to let that slide. Once he caught wind of the video, he jumped on Twitter with his trademark shade writing, "This the first song I'm gonna play, you so tough." A clear dig, reminding everyone that T.I. had been begging for a Versus battle. And just like that, the beef sparked back up all over again. That tweet wasn't just petty, it was a whole production. 50 included the infamous Crime Stoppers video and an audio clip of "You So Tough." And of course, it didn't take long for T.I. to bite. He jumped straight into the comments, clapping back hard at 50's post. T.I. denied every snitching claim, swearing up and down that he never gave the feds dirt on anyone. But he didn't stop there. T.I. flipped it around and hinted that maybe 50 himself had something to hide.
Life, you see a snitch, slap him when you see him, knock his nose off. So the next time I'm out, instead of asking for a picture like a little hoe ass, come on, knock my nose out if you think I'm a snitch. Come on, quit smiling in my face trying to get in my section. Don't play with me, you think you're talking to? Play with your name. King never gave no information to get anybody in no but now time with no police. If I am working with the police, it'll be to get him to shoot. You talking about? Play with me.
T.I. wrote back, "The video clip is cute, in poor taste, but cute. However, I prefer facts. I've never given any information to any form of law enforcement to get nobody no time for no crime ever." 50 Cent, can you say the same? Shots fired. But T.I. wasn't done yet. He took the fight straight to his own IG page. He reposted 50's jab with a long, heated caption, and right in the middle of defending himself, he doubled down on that Versus challenge. T.I. wrote, "I'll take this as an acceptance of his catalog challenge. We got him. He bit the bait. Set this up so I can finally shut this watermelon head, invisible neck ninja up once and for all." That was T.I. going full throttle. He kept pressing his point, once again insisting he never snitched on anyone. T.I. wrote, "As far as this clip goes, it's cute, old, outdated, and in poor taste, much like your catalog, 50 Cent. However, I prefer facts, and the fact remains, I have never given any information to any form of law enforcement at any time in life to get anybody anytime for any crime." And then came the kicker. T.I. added that, "Supreme told me to ask 50 Cent if he can say the same." That line wasn't just defensive, it was a direct shot, throwing the heat right back on 50 and dragging old Street Whispers into the mix. T.I. wasn't holding back at all. He fired off, "That's all I gotta say about that. So let's set this date and pick your songs off that one hot album you got, and let's finally lay your little overrated, outdated, steroid-inflated catalog to rest. R.I.P. to 50 Cent's catalog. I seen you call them Win Ninjas for years, but not the king though. You got the right one. Nas, bring me 50. Clearly, 50 struck a nerve, because T.I. just couldn't let it go. He went into overdrive trying to scrub off those snitching rumors. Right after his IG rant, he jumped on Instagram Live with comedian Kelly K-Dub Walker, once again doubling down that he never cooperated with law enforcement.
"If there was another commercial that I could shoot to tell people who were law-abiding citizens to call the police if crime is happening
in their area,
and it would keep me from doing 10 years for some that I was using to protect myself. If I could make that video again in that same circumstance, I would do it time and time again." I ain't that gangster. I ain't that gangster. I'm not that gangster. I ain't finna tell on nobody. I ain't finna take no stand. I ain't wanna get nobody locked up. I ain't finna do nothing that gonna cause nobody no time. But
how you feel when them niggas be like, man, them tip, man, all the shit?
Man,
hey, we on the bullshit. You been drinking, I've been drinking.
T.I. wanted everybody to know his name was clean, but you already know. The more he talked, the louder the whispers got. But T.I. didn't stop there either. He kept the conversation alive during an appearance on the Big Facts podcast. Of course, the host pressed him on that infamous Crime Stoppers commercial and asked how he feels about people labeling him a rat because of it. T.I. stood tall on his stance, repeating that he never gave up anyone, never worked with the cops, and that the ad was just part of his court-ordered deal to reshape his image. And when they specifically asked how he felt about New York rappers like 50 Cent mocking him over the video, T.I. didn't back down. He gave a response that made it clear he wasn't afraid of the shade coming from up north. That boldness must have caught 50's attention, because about a week later, he decided to clap back in true 50's fashion, straight to Instagram with a post that had everybody talking. The only twist? He later deleted it, leaving fans wondering what made him switch up. 50 wasn't staying silent. He reposted that clip from T.I.'s interview and threw in some words of his own. He wrote, "This was a week ago. This dude was backstage telling me about a comedy show he's working on. I don't like all this kind of stuff. It wouldn't be a good idea to come around me again. Respectfully, stay away from me." That's 50's way of saying keep your distance. But just when it looked like the beef couldn't get messier, it did. After King Von's tragic death, T.I. made some comments that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And 50 was one of the first to check him. Just days after Von and 2 others were killed in Atlanta on November 6, 2020, T.I. jumped online to speak on the violence in his city. He posted, "Atlanta is a beautiful, progressive city filled with black excellence. We uplift each other and win together. Stop coming here to kill each other. That is just played out." He captioned it with, "Handle your beefs in your city. Thanks in advance, King." On the surface, T.I. was pushing for peace, but many saw it as badly timed and disrespectful, especially since Von had just lost his life in Atlanta. That's when 50 stepped in again. He reposted a story from King Von's sister, Kayla, who wasn't holding back. Kayla wrote, "And these are facts, but the energy he always putting in people's business need to be the same energy. He need to make it right with his daughter. No way is my brother 50 Cent. Get on his AI."
When them New York like 50 and all them they be trying to do all that old.
I'ma tell you something. When you're fighting a man with no arms, expect to get kicked. Do what they can. What they can. Go with whatever they can to hurt you. Whatever they feel will hurt you. What they don't know is, I don't give a. I am at peace with myself. I know who I am. I know what I've done. I know what I haven't done. I ain't got nothing to be ashamed of. I walk around with my head up, with my chest out. I be by myself most of the time. I don't give a about how nobody feel about me. If they really didn't like it, they would approach me with their anger and get met with equal opposite action.
I count 6 shots.
And
By co-signing her post, 50 made it clear he was siding with Von's family, and once again, putting T.I. on blast at the worst possible moment. When 50 caught wind of Kayla's IG story, he didn't hesitate to check T.I. directly. He posted, "You gotta chill, you bugging for saying anything. They got casualties, this is real. I don't know what you was thinking, but rethink it. Now they are hurting, they love that boy. He was way out. I bet you don't even realize they ready for you after what you just said. What hood you from again? Come on now, it's quiet time now." That was a heavy warning, and T.I. actually did go quiet for a little while after that. But if there's one thing about T.I., it's that he can't stay silent for long. Soon after, fresh rumors started swirling that Tip was close to landing a major role in 50's Power universe, until his shots at 50 allegedly cost him the gig. Of course, T.I. wasn't having it. He jumped back in to clear the air, denying that his issues with 50 had anything to do with missing out on the role. But the gossip kept spreading. It all kicked off when Gianni Paolo, the actor who plays Braden Weston on Power, told TMZ that T.I. was supposed to play Davis McLean, the slick lawyer, who's now portrayed by none other than Method Man. Even Michael Rainey Jr., who plays Tariq, chimed in. He revealed that one day they just showed up on set and Method Man was suddenly there. No warning, no explanation. That left plenty of room for speculation. And the whispers behind the scenes suggested that maybe, just maybe, 50 and T.I.'s feud had something to do with Method Man sliding into that role instead of Tip. Whether it's fact or just industry chatter, it only kept the tension alive. When T.I. caught wind of all that chatter, he wasted no time addressing it. He pulled up on Tony the Closer's podcast to shut the rumors down once and for all. T.I. insisted there was zero truth to the claims about him being cast as Davis McLean on Power. He doubled down, saying the story was fake and stressing that he and 50 actually share a lot of respect for each other.
I seen a post today where they were saying that you were supposed to be in, I guess one of the Power, what's the name? I guess 2 of the actors on the show said that you were actually supposed to be on the show, and then they replaced you with nothing, and they weren't expecting it or something.
No, that's not true. 50 and I, we were executive producers on a different show outside of the Power universe. But nah, man, me and 50 cool. I'm the only one who's not offended by his brass approach, and he's not offended by mine. So, you know, we play rough, but ain't no issues.
But here's the catch. While T.I. was giving 50 his flowers, 50 himself stayed quiet. No confirmation, no denial, just silence. And if you know 50, that silence speaks volumes. Sure, he hasn't been dragging T.I. like he does with some of his other enemies lately, but everybody knows 50 never forgets a grudge. He might let it simmer in the background, but with him, the smoke always comes back around sooner or later. Meanwhile, the fans have been busy picking sides, and they're not budging. Some are riding for T.I., while others refuse to let the snitching whispers die down. One fan even broke it down like this. You can be a non-cooperating snitch where you direct police to a situation that they can look at closer, in which they get a conviction without the original witness testimony. I'm just saying, I've never in my life seen a 1-year sentence, a Crime Stoppers tip, a commercial, community service, and time served. That's the type of debate keeping this feud alive, with T.I. defending his name, 50 lurking in silence, and fans throwing fuel on the fire every chance they get. One fan wasn't holding back, writing, "No conviction for a small army worth of guns? I like T.I., but damn, let me get some of those politicians you got under your thumb. If not, then you was snitching. People get 10 years plus for just one gun, and Tip had 30 plus. That comment hit heavy, but another fan quickly clapped back, saying 50 had no room to talk, and even added, "That's the mouse calling the rat a rodent." So, what's your take on all this? Is 50 right for calling out T.I. and reminding the world about his past? Or is this just a case of the pot calling the kettle black, with both of them guilty of playing the game when it suits them? The back and forth is messy, the receipts keep popping up, and neither one of them seems ready to fully squash it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know where you stand on this one. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that like button, smash subscribe, share this video, and I'll see you on the next one.